Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Timothy Coton. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Superfluid Labs. We are just waiting another 10 seconds, 10, 20 seconds or so for a couple of people to dial in, and we will get started right away. Thank you again for your time today. All right, we'll get started now. I hope you can all hear me okay. In case you're having any trouble following today's session, feel free to write your comments or questions in the chat window. Right. So welcome to today's webinar on top data insights that every Solar PAYGo business should monitor and report. Today's webinar is brought to you by Beam Africa and Superfluid Labs. I'll be presenting alongside my colleague Gilbert, who is our data science manager based in Kenya. I'll begin with a brief introduction of Superfluid Labs. Superfluid is a data analytics company that helps businesses unlock value from their data for business growth. And we serve customers in the following verticals: financial services, clean energy, retail and commerce. We work with several tech startups, as well as agri-tech businesses as well. Superfluid's work has been recognized internationally through various awards, such as being awarded the Best Data Analytics and Credit Scoring Company at the Africa Tech Summit in 2020, as well as recognitions from the London Stock Exchange Group. In addition, we are proud to serve multiple companies and businesses across Africa, Europe, as well as some US customers. And historically, we've processed over 500 million records on behalf of our customers in order to allow them to more successfully run their businesses. Superfluid's core offering, in addition to providing data and artificial intelligence consulting services, is also a proprietary enterprise intelligence and consumer scoring platform. And this platform offers data analytics and machine learning capabilities, like those listed here: data aggregation, data preparation, model development, automation, deployment, as well as customer and business analytics and reporting use cases as well. And here we support various insights like those that we'll be discussing today through our platform. So a business can achieve customer analytics, customer segmentation, credit risk analytics, the portfolio analytics, with little to no need for coding or tech skills. So you can actually use our platform once customized and deployed to monitor and on an ongoing basis generate various relevant business insights without the need for technical expertise. So this is an overview of the platform. At another time, we'll be happy to have a demo session where we can take you through the platform, or you can always visit superfluid.io and sign up for free on the platform to test it out for a free trial account. Superfluid's platform, as well as our data consulting services, works with clients through the support of various data input channels. So we work with customers that have not fully digitized their operations. They may have some data sets available in Excel files. You can import this data onto the platform. We can also do direct database connections, or we can integrate via APIs that might be available. We support a variety of very rich data formats and types, like financial statements, phone records, transactional data, SMS logs, call center logs, mobile money statements, customer surveys, self-reported information, as well as credit reference bureau reports. And the various outputs that our platform, as well as our data science team, generates can be delivered via visual reports, automated dashboards, Excel downloads where you want specific reports or specific numbers, as well as API integration. So we can actually push those reports on an ongoing scheduled basis to your own MIS or management information systems. This is an overview of a subset of some of the customers that Superfluid has served over the years. I'm sure you'd notice a number of financial service institutions, as well as several Solar PAYGo companies here as well. At this point, I would hand over to Taha, who is the CEO of Beam Africa, to provide a brief introduction overview of Beam's business.
Okay, thanks, Timothy. So I'll talk a little bit about at the end about our collaboration with Superfluid, but I'll just go over quickly the kind of just a brief overview of what we do and our history. You can go on to the next slide. So Beam is a cloud communications provider. We enable enterprises, particularly a lot of technology companies and pay-as-you-go solar companies, to deliver communications seamlessly to mobile devices and subscribers across Africa. We work across 20 plus countries and have about 3,000 plus customers that have used our platforms. And we're able to reach about over 55 networks directly through our platform across the continent, and have processed about 1 billion plus transactions. Yeah, you can go on to the next slide. Yeah. So these are some of the countries that we cover. The dark blue ones that we cover directly, and other ones through partners. But we have a really extensive coverage that we've developed over the last 10 years, covering multiple mobile channels, engagement channels, which includes SMS, USSD, airtime, and mobile payments. And we offer this in the form of, I think you can go on to the next slide. We offer this in the form of APIs, as well as a self-service platform. So the APIs are available for all kind of technology companies, startups, and developers to integrate into their backend systems to deliver automated notifications, information on demand, collect payments, as well as send rewards via airtime. I also want to talk a little bit about the data-driven communication, which is kind of the aim of our collaboration with Superfluid. So the idea really behind our collaboration is that Superfluid is doing a lot of great work doing data analysis for customers across different segments. But the missing piece is always, how to make that data actionable and how to drive value from that analysis. And we believe that by collaborating together, we can make that data actionable and drive value from that analysis, direct monetary value from that analysis, by providing the final piece or the engagement channel so that customers can take action by sending offers, promotions, alerts to particular segments or particular customers that have been identified through the data analysis. Yeah, you can go on. I think there is another slide. So this is what we're trying to do, is kind of merge our capabilities and kind of integrate our platforms such that any customers, particularly let's say pay-as-you-go customers that were solar pay-as-you-go solar customers, can identify the right segments that for particular outcomes, whether it's a retention or upselling particular products, how can we really target the right customers and help you grow your businesses or solve particular challenges. Yeah, I think that's it from my side. Yeah, happy to answer any questions at any point.
Thanks so much, Taha, for the overview of BEAM and the exciting collaboration that we've commenced with Superfluid Labs. And I think that marriage of data-driven insights with powerful communication and engagement platform capability is something that a lot of businesses will benefit from. So we're very excited about this. Now, on to today's main agenda, which is a discussion of over 20 different data insights. So first and foremost, a disclaimer. Superfluid has a library of literally hundreds of different data insights. And one of the challenges today was actually trying to compress as much of those insights into a very, very short period of time. We will try as much as possible to spend more time discussing some of the analysis types that tend to be more relevant for different businesses. For those ones that we believe are more obvious, we would go through them very quickly. However, you are welcome to questions that you may have during the session, or if you're interested in engaging with us subsequently, we'll be happy to speak at length and in detail on any additional insights that is not covered here as well. And we'll also be sharing materials from today's presentation with you as well. All right. Okay, without further ado, so typically for Solar PAYGo businesses, and the assumption is that almost everyone on this call today is familiar with Solar PAYGo businesses, so I'll not describe that in detail. But typically, there are two broad categories of metrics that you want to track. So there are metrics that have to do with the sales performance. So this is the ability of your business to grow and continuously add new customers, and new customers through new unit sales or new unique customers, or selling additional second, third, fourth devices to the same customer base. So there are metrics that help track that. Those are usually obvious. And then there are also metrics that have to do with the portfolio management, portfolio quality, and the portfolio health. So different metrics that help you understand how well is the business actually doing after you've acquired customers, in terms of agents, in terms of location, in terms of customer cohorts. And we will give a few examples of some of these as well. In general, as we are going to attempt whenever possible to describe or define particular metrics. How do you calculate it if it's not obvious? And why is this metric important? How might it be useful or helpful? And where a diagram or a graph might help explain or illustrate what that is, we've also included a few examples of those. I would commence with the sales performance. So typically at a high level, every business wants to track or needs to track customer growth. So many businesses will report, okay, this is the total number of customers that we have. For example, these are illustrative figures, but for example, you have 1,055 cumulative customers or units that have been sold to date. Awesome, congratulations. However, how
Hello, Timothy. I think we've lost you. Can everyone hear Timothy all right?
No, Emmanuel.
No.
I think maybe
Okay.
the connection just tripped. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
We can
Okay,
hear you.
excellent. What was the last thing you heard?
I think the very first statement you made on this slide. Afterwards,
Okay.
we lost you. Yeah.
Not a problem. I would go through that again. So I was saying that every business typically, it's very easy for most businesses to track the total number of customers that they have or you've acquired as a business. However, being able to monitor the growth in that number of customers, the new customer additions on a weekly basis, monthly basis, or whatever period is relevant for your business, can help reveal the effects of any sudden slowdown in sales, for example, last year due to COVID, or any other relevant macroeconomic development that might show that, okay, cumulatively a business is still growing, but there's been a slowdown in the pace of growth. So customer growth is one of the important metrics, but that can be further segmented by the period of the growth or the different regions. You can track growth rates by different regions or different agents as well. The other metric, the second metric, is around product sales, so individual product sales, and specifically in the Solar PAYGo space, the value of products being sold. So for example, you have a $300 solar home system that is being sold. You want to track how much of that sale is happening cumulatively, but also on a consistent period of time. But because we know that a Solar PAYGo business model is largely premised on the opportunity for customers to finance a device over time, it means that of each sale, total sale value, which is number 2 that is happening, only a subset of that might be actually paid immediately in the form of a down payment or a deposit. And then the rest of it will be financed, or it's expected to be financed on an agreed schedule. And this varies from business to business. So some businesses have a daily schedule where you pay for, you prepay for power for a day or 2 days or 3 days or 5 days. And then some businesses have a weekly schedule where you pay for energy on a week at a time, and then some have a monthly schedule. But the point is that tracking how much sales is happening overall, but also how much repayments you are expecting, which is now the third point, cumulatively. So you've launched a Solar PAYGo business successfully, you've been running this for 2 years or 3 years or 6 months. As of today, yes, it's a financed product. Yes, your new customer addition is growing exponentially, but how much repayments were you expecting to have received as of today, which is point number 3. Being able to track this cumulative figure on a near real-time basis continuously is very helpful. And number 4, as a subset of number 3, is cumulatively you're expecting to have received $39,000, $39,500. How much were you expecting to receive in the current period? Now, we know that most businesses or different businesses have different periods within which they monitor their progress. So some businesses do this on a monthly cycle. So in the current month, how much payments were we expecting? Some businesses are able to do this on a weekly level. And we've also seen businesses being able to do this in real time. So on a day, they can go to a granular level on a daily level. Okay, today, how much repayments are we expecting today? How much are we expecting tomorrow? How much are we expecting the day after? And this is where having a well-structured data system or using a BI platform like what Superfluid offers can help you track this metric. Now, 3 and 4 have to do with expected payments that you're expecting from customers. But against that expectation is the reality of how much amount is actually being paid or how much is actually being collected. So the term he used is collections or payments, and that is 5 and 6. And 5 and 6 can also be tracked on a cumulative basis as of today. So cumulatively, I've collected $36,991 against an original expectation of $39,000, right? So that's quite good. It's not perfect what I would have expected, but it is quite good. And when we look at the total amount collected the current period, in this case, this business actually is a little bit ahead of schedule in terms of this current week. Why is that? Sometimes that can happen because in previous weeks, customers were not able to pay, so they've accumulated their payments and they are now coming to pay back for previous payments that they were not able to make. But again, this is where having a very good monitoring system to help you understand the high-level summary number, but also be able to interrogate that and understand further, why is this happening? Which kinds of subset of customers are contributing to this payment can be very helpful. Now, of the amount, total amount that is actually collected in the current period, which is number 6, you can further divide that, or you should further divide and monitor that by how much of that is resulting from new customers that are not financing the unit. So they are coming, they want a solar home system that you're offering or some other device, and they are paying fully, the full cost upfront. As against customers who are opting for the financed option, where they will finance the device or the set of devices over a period of time as well. Now, another very important metric, number 9, which should be tracked, has to do with accounts receivables. So this is the total costs of products or the cumulative sales, which is number 2, less cumulatively how much has actually been received. So for example, if as a business, I've made total product sales of $157,000, that is how much I expect if customers fully pay on the financing plan over time, that's how much I expect to receive. But as of today, how much of that amount is actually expected in the future? It is still outstanding, it is yet to be received. Tracking that amount, account receivables, is also very important because that is your assets in terms of receivables, but that receivables might have different risk components depending on whether customers are actually diligently following the payments plan that you've established for them, or if some customers are falling behind on that. And then similar to the account receivables is a different number, which has to do with at the current point in time, are you on track in terms of how much you expected customers to pay right now versus how much customers have actually paid. So that is usually called arrears, total arrears, but that's different businesses can call it by different names. And this is the total amount that is expected less what has actually been collected. So in this case, this illustrative example, this business is behind on where they expected to be by around $2,556. Another important measure of sales, which is very important, is the total number of agents. So yes, it's easy for most businesses to track the number of agents that you have, that's fine. But even more important is, of those agents, how many of those agents are actually active and inactive? And here, active agents are defined by the number of agents that have made a sale within the last period, relevant period. So if you have an expectation of your sales agents to make at least one sale a week, you can track how many agents are actually able to make one sale a week. And you classify those as your active agents, or how many are not making a sale at least once a week or once a month, depending on what your expectation of them is. So this is an overview of the various sales performance metrics that should definitely be tracked, and each of these can be analyzed on a more granular level as well. Next, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Gilbert, who will speak about portfolio management as well. So there are a set of metrics that have to do with portfolio management.
Thank you, Tim. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. On our side, tracking the sales performance, we would want to monitor the portfolio health, quality, and manage it. So one of the key metrics in this specific case is what we call collection rate. So this is tied to the sales performance in a way, which is more of what is the ratio of the amount that was collected to what was actually expected. And this collection speed can be seen from a cumulative perspective. At the same time, it can be seen from the current period of analysis. So we shall be using a few illustrations in the coming slides where you explain these two varied components of collection rate or collection speed. Yes, next slide, please. And then we have a more of a critical part of now management, which is now monitoring the customers who are at risk, and also with the combination of customers who are at risk. Also, you would want to monitor customers who also are on time or are currently with utilizing the units or are fully paid for the units. So, on the risk perspective, you want to kind of group the customers on a granular level, starting from the customers who are late by 7 days in terms of paying for the credit, and then up to the late for more than 90 days. So in a way, you can see this from a combination of, which we shall discuss later, is a combination of cohort, whereby you say, my customers who I recently onboarded or a sales agent recently onboarded, the recent customers maybe in the last three months, are they performing well, or is it that these are the early signs of danger that these customers maybe need to be monitored? So this now partitioning or grouping these customers based on the late days, which is now from 0 to more than 90 days, then this would be put to maybe make now early connection or early monitoring and talking to these customers to understand what could be the issue. So now we can now segment or do this portfolio now based on these late days or late days since they last made a payment for the units. So a common measure in the industry is on per 30, which is now customers who have been late for more than 30 days and up to even plus 90. So this is a cumulative sum of all customers that have been late for more than 30 days. Or in a way, you can maybe group them now, say individually, how many customers are maybe 30 to 60, and then we have 60 to 90, and then 90 plus. So with this now, it can be an easier way of making a communication to them. Either now say, maybe from the call center perspective, you want to start tracking these customers based on the late days they are. So are we prioritizing the late 90 days, or should we prioritize customers who are either 8 to 30 days? So this is more of now a discussion between the portfolio management team and the call center agents, where you would want to understand, okay, what is the easier option? Is it easier to recover these units at an early stage where someone is late maybe by 30, 60 days, or is it worthwhile or cost effective in a way to go for a unit that is 90 days late and maybe refurbish it and sell it for a little price to recover the cost that you've incurred? So this is now how you can decide the monitoring and management of your portfolio. Next slide, Steve. So at a high level, at specific snapshot in time, maybe let's say as of July for now, a customer or a company may have sold 1,500. That's around the first row, 1,500 units. 1,055 units, and you want to say of these 1,055 units, how many units actually are fully paid, which we call it unlocked, or how many units actually are late by 90 days, which is in a way, this is the critical part of it. And measuring this portfolio at risk, you can do it by count, or you can do it by amount, which is by account receivables. So looking at it on the per 30, which is saying that per 30 customers, it represents 5% on account perspective, and also at the same time, you would want to say, are these 30 customers really owing a lot in terms of amount? That's when you want to look at it from the last row in this table, last column in this table, sorry, where you say the per 30 customers represents 5% of the account receivables. That's amount we still expect to receive from these specific customers. At the same time, we want to say, okay, over time, the unlocked becoming popular, or is it that these unlocked customers have paid more than what was expected, or is still that maybe someone has paid 99% of the collection, so means this maybe we can consider this customer is fully paid, and maybe write say negative. In this specific case, you're seeing account receivables is more than what was really paid. That's why maybe consider that is fine. Yep. Good. So tying in a way, this is more of a connection between the PAR and our cohort analysis. So cohort analysis is a wide metric, and sometimes in the industry is called vintage analysis, where now you want to monitor customers as a group. A group in this specific case might be that you want to monitor these customers from when they were onboarded by month, by week, or by year, and then you understand, is it that the specific group of customers that were registered maybe in August 2020, are they performing well as the same cohort of customers that were registered in maybe July 2020? Or is it that maybe you've been in business for a while, maybe for more than 5 years or 2 or 3 years, and then you want to understand, is it that the behavior of this specific cohort of people registered in August are always behaving the same as the preceding year, maybe in 2019, August 2020, excluding maybe unforeseen events like COVID, where it affects the whole portfolio performance of the whole customers. So looking at this group of customers as a cohort, you are now to dive as further into understanding this cohort by the region they come from, by the age of their customers, or even this cohort by the account status, which we call now the late, the number of days that they are late in making their payments. So basically now this cohort is where now you do early detection of customers who are either late, and maybe in this specific case, you want to say, I want to monitor customers who are 3 months into subscribing for this product. The next slide, thing. Yes. So for instance, we are using this example of customers that were registered in 2020. We are using an example of 1055 customers or units that were sold, and of these units, we already seen in the previous slides that there are 27 customers or units that have been fully unlocked, and then on the far end of this table, we see that there are 23 units that have been repossessed. In a way, repossessed or write-off in a way is customers who have waited delayed for more than 90 days, and it is worthwhile or is cost effective better to call back these units and maybe refurbish and sell it at a lower price to recover the cost you incurred. At the same time, we have shaded some sections maybe in the last 3 months between June, May, and April. You want to monitor the customers that are switching to danger zones, and in this specific case, it could be good to call back these units, or even get in touch with these specific customers, or even agents that onboarded these customers to understand what could be the issue of this, of why is it that these customers are now switching to the danger regions. Or even a good way of doing this is now to segment and create a segment of this group of customers that you see, oh, these customers are transitioning to a region that it is not good for the business, and maybe it would be good to just discuss with the agent and say, your customers, these specific customers that you onboarded at this specific period in June, April, and May, they are not doing well, and we would want to understand what could be the problem that they are facing. Would it be good, maybe you could have restructured their payment plans in a way, either they were paying $5 per month, maybe you can restructure and say, you can pay $3 over a period of time with maybe a contract signed. Or maybe the customer maybe says, I'm not really paying because maybe 1 or 2 reasons, the support team from our end are not doing a good job in, maybe the customer raised a complaint and say, my device is not doing well. And maybe in that response, the customer maybe felt that, no, I'm not getting value for the money, and that's why he or she opted to delay and not really make that payment. So this early detection can help solve that issue and maybe solve that that problem. Yes. Thank you, Emmanuel. In case of any question, you can interject at any point. So a combination now of that table. You can visualize this on a graphical way, and combining this now with more of saying, of this specific cohort of customers that were registered in January. Are we having more customers that are fully unlocked in this specific setup? Or is it that you can see the trend of customers, say in April, there was maybe a dip in terms of on customer onboarding? You want to understand what could be the reason. Is it the same problem that is incurring due to the previous period, or maybe is it the same problem that you always see that there's a drop in terms of customer onboarding at this period in March and April, then it picks up in May? Maybe it's a seasonality effect or seasonality problem that's always constant at this period in time. And also you want to understand the performance of customers at this period in time. So this is actually a snapshot in time of the process. You can always track this from the first time that you onboard clients up to the current day that you are running this analysis. So this will always show or graphically or understand how is the distribution of your customers based on now the different days that they are in the contract. Are they late? Are they group of customers that have been actually repossessed, or is it that we can do actual repossession early in time for maybe a specific group of customers? Yes. So looking at it now from a different angle, which is now the collection rate. Are we collecting that what we expected from this group of customers? In a way, saying that along the columns, you see the first payment period up to current, maybe the current month period, say customers onboarded in June. Actually, all of them at the onboarding month, all customers are paying well as a group at 100%. But you find that as time goes by in the periods of now the contract, now you find one or two customers missing payment, and you see now the collection rate dropping with time. And in this specific case, you want to see, okay, is it the same behavior for each and every cohort? Is it that by the 4th month, or the 5th month, is it like all customers, either that by the 5th month I lose 10% of the portfolio? Is it at the 6th month, this is the period that you find that customers that are consistent up to the 6th period continue paying for those units, or is it that it's kind of a unique case scenario? So this collection rate computation table can help you monitor that at the 5th or 6th month, the customers who actually consistently pay for the units up to the 6th month actually continue over time up to the end of the contract. Or customers who drop at the 3rd month, they are highly likely, or customers who become late at the 3rd month, they are highly likely to not continue kind of honor the contract up to the end. So this now collection rate, which is the ratio between what was actually paid over what was expected at that specific point in the contract. Yes. Any question? Yes. So aside now, from the other slides that we have been talking about that specific period in time, but at the same time, you want to say, based on our analysis, we monitor our customer maybe on a weekly or on a monthly basis. On this specific weekly, monthly period, you want to say, are the customers who are late the previous analysis video, say, let's use for instance now in July and last year in June. We run an analysis on our customers and say, currently we have 5,000 customers in our portfolio, 4872. And of those 4872 customers, how many are actually new sales from this period between our early analysis and now, which is say 252, and then what are the states of those customers in the previous analysis? That's why you see on the dark shaded region, 76 of our customers were actually unlocked by the time we ran this analysis last month, and then last month we had 580 customers who had already been repossessed by then. Then we come now and say, compare this analysis with now of the customers that were onboarded between this period and the whole portfolio. How many customers do we have now that are actually unlocked? We say is 91. And of these 91 customers, how many actually came from new sales? Meaning that there are 5 customers who were registered between this period of July and between June, July, and these 5 customers actually came and say, we want these units on a cash option and not really on a finance option. This can be a good way to monitor. Is it that there is high traction of customers trying to adopt the cash option? Is it that we need to maybe change the terms around the cash option, that it's becoming more popular, or you want to try more into the finance plan, which might be good for the business in a way? So over time now, you want to say, of the 91 customers that are actually unlocked, where are they coming from? We had 76 last week. Now we had new additional 8 customers that now were active. Then they were current or active with the units, and they actually fully honored the contract and fully paid for the units. There even interesting bit that there's customers who are late by a day or 0 to 7 days in the previous analysis, and this customer actually, when the call center reached out, he actually paid and fully on the units. And then now, you want to do a comparison between the customers who are transitioning between the late sections to now customers who are actually current. So we have a green shaded region. So these are customers who are actually late by the time we ran analysis last month, and with the effort of the call center, they have actually paid, and now they are currently utilizing those units. At the same time, we have now a light yellow section. So these are customers who, one of them is 26 and 12. They came in this period in time, and actually maybe they paid deposit and actually stopped making those payments. That's why you see the 12 being late by 8 to 30 days. Some of them are late by 7 days. But there is an interesting bit of customers, which is 310 and 283, which is good to monitor this period of group of customers, where you say, by the previous analysis we made in June, we had customers who are with credit, but now around 593 customers are now in the danger region. They are now transitioning to 7 days and even to 8 to 30 days. And you want now to maybe find out what could be the reason, what could be the problem, or what could be the issue. So with this change between the customers who are shifting from late to being with credit, and then we have customers who are shifting from being with credit to late, you want to understand, are the deviation between this group of customers, is it a positive deviation, or is actually a negative deviation? Is it something to highly or worry about, or is it something to say there is in the current trend of how the customers transition between this period? Aside that, the last row, I want to mention about the last row of the repossessed. Maybe you have a team that are going for collection or recollection, or even recollection metrics that you want to measure. Is this team performing well? In the previous month, we had 580 units were repossessed, and then this time we had additional 34 or 24 units that have been repossessed. Is this performance okay, or is it that the recollection team needs to maybe adjust and maybe ensure that we monitor early in advance around these customers that need to be repossessed, or need to change maybe their structure in a way, reach out to understand what could be the problem. So these transition metrics, you can monitor it in terms of count, and also in terms of the money side of what is actually received whenever you contact these specific customers, or what is actually received whenever you make these interventions on the customer journey. Yes, so that is good to monitor. So apart from the overall portfolio health, you want to now measure the performance of your sales team. You have agents on the ground. We saw in the previous slide, or the previous analysis team mentioned that you have 70 agents who are registered in your pool of agents to onboard clients, and then you have a group of customers or agents that maybe 20 good performing or 20 active agents. At the same time, you have 70 or 50 agents that are actually in the pool but have not made any sales in the current period. At the same time, you want to say we want to tie the commission rate of this agent based on the performance of their customers. A sales agent number 1 is having 62 customers that he or she onboarded. And of these 62 customers, how many actually are in the good books? In a way, how many are fully honored the payment plans? How many are active currently? Or even how many of them are in the danger zones led by 30, 60, and even 90 plus days? Or even you might have an agent, let's for instance, the last one with 96 clients or 96 customers, and then of these 96 customers, actually 44 units are being repossessed in this specific case. This might be a danger to the business, or even maybe you want to understand what could be the issue with this specific agent, or what could be the issue with the performance of this client. Is it that the region that this agent is selling to, is it a region issue, or is it an agent issue, or is it something to do with a fraud case that you want to monitor early in advance? So this can be red flags to understand, okay, what could be the reason, or what could be the problem happening with this agent portfolio. So with that combination, you can now say tie this to say someone agent number 1 with 62 customers, 49 of them are actually good customers. In a way, these are customers who are at 70% of what they are expected to pay when you compute expected amount paid and actually what was paid. These are customers who are 49 of these customers are actually more than 70% of that. Is it a good proportion? Say 79%. Is it a good proportion of this customer group, or someone's agent 4 with 25%? Is it do we need to stop this agent from making any further sale, or what could be the interventions that you want to make? Or maybe you want to say, has someone been active in the last 3 months? Which means that in the last 3 months he made 16 sales, but actually the proportion of his existing customers, by the time that we are running this analysis, the performance was at 25%. So such medications can help improve the health of the portfolio, or even connect. Now, in a way, this is where you are bringing connection with the call center team, and even a good partnership where you bring in a team like BIM to kind of send quick information to these customers, quick information up to this agent, right? Make the right time intervention at the right time to ensure that you improve on this. Yes, and this is actually a graphical representation of the previous table. And lastly to this. Lastly to this is now we have discussed on the group level monitoring, and then at the same time you want to monitor now on an individual customer level. Is a customer adhering to the payment periods that we expected, or is it that he or she missing at specific time? And you can see that on a customer level, someone is performing 70%, someone is performing 86%, someone is in a way paying stops, and you see someone is paying at 44% collection rate. On a group level, you might see that at that specific time, maybe you have one customer in July, and that customer is paying 100%. But once you have the whole customer group, that is on November 2020, you had 4 customers, and all of them actually paid 100%. But when you look on a cumulative perspective, what is the cumulative collection rate? It is 65%. Is the current period of collection doing better, or is it that on a cumulative perspective, you find that the overall collection of the team, or the collection team, is not doing a good job in a way, or is it the customers that are not honoring or paying the payments in time? So this can be help you to monitor it on now current period analysis where you say, oh, the current period, this month of July, you are doing 100% or even 75%, one customer missed payment. Or when you look at it from a cumulative perspective, you find that are we below a threshold? Say you set a threshold, say we need to maintain our collection rate or collection speed to be at maybe 70%. Whenever we hit below 70%, we need to understand what would be the mitigations that we need to make, ensure that we stick to the thresholds that the business has set. Or even in April 2021, none of the customers actually made that payment. Is it something to get worried about, or is this something that maybe some sort of mitigations need to be made at that specific period in time? Okay, thank you, everyone. Over to you, Tim.
Thanks so much, Gilbert. Yeah, I'll pause here in case there are any questions. We highly encourage you. We've shared a feedback form in the chat. We encourage you to complete that if you have any questions or any things you want to learn or any areas that you want further or subsequent detailed discussions on. Kindly complete that. We'll be very grateful. But at the moment, if there are any questions that anyone has, kindly feel free to raise your hand and ask, or to type your message or your question. Do we have a question from David? Okay. See a message from Raphael. Thanks so much, Raphael. Much appreciated. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm curious for the participants who are on with us, if you don't mind sharing, how do you currently, are you tracking all of the metrics that we shared today already if you are running a Solar PAYGo business? And are you currently able to automate some of the customer or agent communication or stakeholder communications that should result from the insights or the metrics that are being generated? You can type your responses in the chat if you already have something like that running, or if you are looking to set up an automated process as well.
Hi, Timothy.
Hello. Hi.
I am Rafael from UPOA. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Thank you very much for the presentation. And just to answer briefly to your questions, we do track, in the case of UPOA, all of the indicators you shared with us. With some of them, honestly, we have some more difficulties than with others, because given when you reach a certain amount of clients, the amount of data points is high, as you know. Regarding the automation of the communications or signals resulting of these indicators, we do have some automated SMS, for example, which is the easiest way to reach our clients currently. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, that does. Thanks so much, Raphael. And you mentioned that sometimes as the business grows and you have a very large or larger data volumes, it makes the computation of some of the reports a little bit more difficult. If you don't mind sharing, what kinds of tools do you use currently to track or to process the data or analyze it to generate the insights that you are tracking currently?
In our case, we started back when we started the activity, we started with the Google Suite, which is accessible and has a low cost. But then when we reach a certain size, we started developing our own tools. through different platforms, but they are, so we have an IT team, and we developed our own tools, and we access the data generated through Python or whatever code. And then we report on different BI tools, like, for example, Power BI.
Great. That's helpful. Thanks so much, Afam.
Sure.
And which markets are you in currently, UPower?
Currently, mainly Cameroon.
Nice.
Pay-as-you-go Cameroon, but thinking about others, hopefully soon.
That's great. If you want to have subsequent discussions about any of the areas, we'll be pleased to speak with you more at length.
Sure.
Thanks so much for joining
thank you.
today. Yeah. Any comments or any questions from anyone else? See a few different people online as well. Just want to encourage everyone to just click out on the feedback form. We really appreciate any feedback that you have, or if there are any questions that you prefer to discuss in a more private setting, we'll be happy to do that as well.
Yes, and if anyone's interested in both the collaboration between Superfluid and Beam in terms of driving actions from the data insights, or Beam's communication services across Africa for SMS or other mobile channels, happy to have those conversations.
Indeed. Thanks a lot, Taha. I would assume the silence means there are no further questions. So thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks for your time, and yeah, we look forward to hearing from you soon and supporting the growth of your business with better data-driven customer engagement and insights. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.